Yes, Tim Duncan is overrated, but he's still a top 10 player all time. Let me explain and listen. Listen with your ears and then close your mouth and just listen. All right? Listen to me. Tim Duncan is overrated offensively, and people act like he is a top 8 player all time because of his fundamentally sound offensive game. Let me be brutally honest here. I think his defensive impact was better than his offensive impact, and I'm guessing a majority of you casuals that were mad at me calling him overrated are mad because you only know him for being a great offensive player. I mean, he only broke 25 points a game one time in his career. Don't get me wrong, top 10 player all time without a doubt. But when people refer to him as the big fundamental and glaze over his offensive skill set and act like he is the most dominant post player of all time, they're kind of overrating him offensively. Happy with that explanation? Probably not. Too bad. I don't really care. Cry about it. Top 10 player all time, but definitely overrated. I next said that the Pacers were going to be a top 4 team in the East next year. I will stand by that unless someone vital gets hurt. They were very good last year until Halliburton got hurt, and they've added 3 really good pieces in Bruce Brown, Jarris Walker, and Obi Toppin. I stand by this take 100%. My Scotty Barnes take is something I've believed in since I watched him run point for Florida State. I think Scotty Barnes would have surpassed Ben Simmons by now if Toronto had decided to rebuild once they realized, as us fans did, that it is time to enter a rebuild. Scotty Barnes has a similar frame and the defensive ability that prime Ben Simmons had, and he has an amazing work ethic. No, Scotty Barnes is not at Ben Simmons' level right now, but as soon as Toronto finally realizes it's time to rebuild and trade Siakam and Anunoby, Scotty Barnes will be able to play freely and turn into the next Ben Simmons with work ethic. Trust me, it's going to take time, but it will happen. CP3 for Jordan Poole. This is a win-win trade. The Warriors have struggled with turnovers even during their dynasty. They also were terrible without Curry on the court. As natural basketball fans, we should all expect CP3 to fix both of those problems, as he has one of the lowest turnover ratios in the NBA. And has this man not elevated the level of play of young players every year he has switched teams? And if it isn't young players he's elevated, it has been the team itself elevating. So why can't him coming off the bench and running the show be a positive instead of having Jordan Poole with his 7 turnovers and 5 fouls a game? Great trade. Oh, and the Wizards get another inefficient guard that can shoot to replace Beal with. So it'll be like Beal never left, because neither player has or will produce many wins for Washington. The Rockets will make the playoffs. Now, I know, this is probably my second hottest take of this video, but hear me out. Let me ask you, were the Kings supposed to make the playoffs last year? Were the Mavericks supposed to miss the playoffs last year? No and no. So why can't the Rockets make the playoffs? They struggled with defense and brought in a defensive-minded head coach, in Ime Udoka, who will not tolerate any of the BS that happened last year and will get the best out of every player. Now, I don't expect them to start the year off strong by any means, but they can make a late season resurgence. Probably more likely as a play-in team, but again, anything is possible. Don't hate until after the season. I know it's a hot take. I don't really care if it's wrong. Sometimes you just gotta be different, man. Hakeem is the best center of all time, in my opinion. Now, the difference between 1, 2, and 3 is very, very close, and I do not have a problem with the other 2 being your number 1. My second and third are Kareem and Shaq. If you have Shaq, Kareem, and Hakeem as your top 3, I have no problem with your list at all. Just respect my opinion as Hakeem being number 1. Now, I did get more bold when I said Hakeem is a top 5 player all time, and yes, I stand by that, because the same people who are mad about me saying Tim Duncan is overrated are the same people who are mad at my Hakeem takes. If you're mad at me for saying Tim Duncan is overrated, then my guess is that you have Tim Duncan in your top 6, maybe top 8. I'll tell you right now, though, that Hakeem was a better defender and a better post player than Duncan. So the only complaint I will listen to is that Kareem and Shaq are both better than Hakeem, which would place him at 6 or 7, despite him not even being considered top 10, which is blasphemous. Just because you are a casual and believe every list you see on ESPN doesn't mean that you are correct. The only reason Hakeem is underrated is because he was drafted in the same draft as Michael Jordan. So he has been in his shadow the whole time. Hakeem did sweep the Magic with Shaq and Penny Hardaway while averaging 33 points and 12 rebounds a game, but I bet you didn't know that until today. Hakeem is him, and I won't accept any disrespect towards him. And my last and most boldest take was that Gigi Jackson is the next LeBron. I mean, he did go to college a year early and probably would have went number 1 in this upcoming draft in 2024. Have you realized that all the mock drafts for 2024 have no idea who is supposed to go number 1? Well, it was supposed to be Gigi. But yes, I know this is an outlandish take, but who knows? I mean, anything's possible, right? But yeah, that's my boldest take by far. As the great Jay Hoopa always says, bold takes are sometimes the right takes. And the Indiana Pacers will be top 4. Tim Duncan is overrated. Hakeem Olajuwon's the best center. And the Rockets will make the playoffs and at the very least a play-in. Who knows? Maybe all of them are right, and you'll understand that in the future. Or maybe I'll be wrong. And guess what? If I'm wrong, it's a bold take for a reason. So I hope you enjoyed. Have a good one, and stay tuned for more bold takes. Bye. Why are you not subscribed, and why don't you have post notifications turned on? You just seem goofy if you're watching these videos and aren't subscribed to it, bro. Like, come on. Get with the program. Come on. Like and subscribe right now. What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on.